Welcome to the PHLY Eagles Pregame Show, live from the Xfinity Lounge and presented by Bet365 and Ashley. Bo Wolf and Jamie Lynch in the saddle here as the Eagles prepare for the biggest test of their pre-playoff stretch in Buffalo on a nasty weather day. How do they fare against Josh Allen? They're getting Jalen Carter back. We'll get into all of that. We'll check in with EJ Smith live in Buffalo at the game. We'll check in with Fran Duffy, who breaks down some things to pay attention to in the Bills' offense. Jamie, you're shaking off the Christmas, happiness. You ready for some football? You ready to watch the Eagles see how they stand up as the playoffs approach?
Yeah, this is a real inflection point.
We went really similar outfits
Very
today.
similar.
I didn't notice that until just now. Yeah.
This is a huge inflection point for me this weekend because if the Eagles win this game today, I am fully going to believe they can beat anybody in the NFL at any given time. If they lose, I'm back to their 1 and out. So, there's pretty much no in the middle here.
And what is interesting about this game is that it could be, really, truly the last time they play until the playoffs. Because if they, assuming that Seattle holds on to beat Carolina, which it certainly looks like they're going to do, if the Eagles lose this game, they will be fully locked into the number 3 seed. Cannot move at all, so they will presumably rest their starters in Week 18. If they win against Buffalo, they will still need Chicago to lose both of their final 2 games and the Eagles to win in Week 18 to get the 2 seed. So we'll be paying attention to tonight's game if the Eagles win this game. However, I think it's looking pretty likely now that they will be locked into the 3 seed. So this really does feel like, okay, let's test ourselves. Let's see what we've got. And I am very curious to see what kind of game plan they come out with against the Bills' run defense that has been very bad. Do they lean into the Saquon Barkley, or do they put this game on Jalen Hurts' hand? I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, it is going to be interesting. The past 3 weeks is the first time I feel like we've had a continued run of success in the running game. It feels better or improved upon.
A little bit.
So I want to see that going because they're going to have their chances today. I'd also like to see Jalen Hurts, sling it around a little bit because, the Bills are like that weird team that, what are they, top 3 versus the pass in the league and worst or second worst against the run.
Something like that, yeah.
I don't want to see them shy away from the passing game just because the game's working. They still need to fine-tune things and look the part and feel the part going into the playoffs. So it'll be an interesting game plan kind of dissection today. I assume Saquon's going to be able to get it going. But I still want to see DeVonta Smith or A.J. Brown every day.
In terms of the inactives for the Eagles, Lane Johnson not playing in this game was already declared out. We knew that despite the reports last weekend and the weekend before that he was going to start practicing. So I think there's a good chance we now don't see Lane until the playoffs if we do see him. But Jalen Carter is back and will play in this game. Michael Carter, a surprise, some personal matter, is inactive for this game. And Nakobe Dean is down, so you'll get a lot of Jahad Campbell in the defense going up against Josh Allen. And then a very big inactive for the Bills that was unexpected is Dalton Kincaid,
huge,
their tight end who has been their second leading receiver. And as our good friend Fran Duffy has pointed out, has been their downfield threat in the offense, which is atypical for a tight end. And so you would expect this Bills receiving group, which is the worst in the league, or thereabouts, just about, all of a sudden it's even worse. And so it's Khalil Shakir or bust.
Yeah, it's a pretty bad
a big game for Cooper DeJean.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting too because do the Bills stack the box and have 5-man fronts and say, hey, we're not going to let Saquon beat us. Go to our strength, which is try to move the ball downfield on us. So we'll see what happens with the running game, and inversely, James Cook and Josh Allen, that's their entire offense. So the Eagles' run defense has to be pretty damn good today. And what do you do versus Josh Allen, who's damn near the scariest quarterback you can play in this league.
And we remember the last time these two teams played, that overtime win for the Eagles at the Link. Josh Allen was awesome in that game, but that was also, of course, the "you must not know Jalen like I know Jalen" quote came from Brandon Graham. So we'll see how it turns out today. But let's get into the weeds of this matchup and set the scene on what it's like in Buffalo by going to the Xfinity Mobile call-in line and bringing in our friend, the Eagles insider, EJ Smith. Happy holidays, EJ.
We packing a tie under there?
No tie, but I did have a collar. I wanted to make sure, it's been, I was a little disheveled on my way in because, it's
real blue-collar guy.
See what I did there? Yeah, you go to a blue-collar city like this, you got to make sure you come correct.
Well, and we know, at least I know, the chat does not know this yet, but you want to talk about somebody really proving their toughness bona fides. EJ Smith today was on the injury report, but is playing through pain after a devastating Christmas Eve injury.
Oh, no.
Or Christmas night injury. EJ Smith playing through pain, blue collar. Good for you. Good, toughen it out. And I feel like you can walk into the locker room after the game today and really be like, hey, I know what you guys play through. I did the same thing.
Yeah, I might be the only person in that locker room that's ever been injured in a grilling accident. But it doesn't sound as tough when you reveal the true intention or the true action that led to me having to have my hand bandaged up here.
Let's see that bad boy.
Yeah, what are we working with?
I mean, it's not like it doesn't look great. It's just I burned my hand. I didn't mean to be like a
real
Michael
Anthony
Scott,
Harris
it's
vibes.
like I burned my foot. Yeah, and just the one hand. That's it. There's nothing else going on here.
Are you lotioning in the hand and keeping it moisturized?
Yes, the moisturizing it is actually very important.
Yeah,
per the doctors. Yeah, no, it was I don't know if you guys are familiar with like a charcoal chimney. You pour the charcoal on the top, you light the fire underneath.
Sure.
Did that. Poured out the coals, put it on the ground. Was going to fill it back up. And the wind blows it over, and I instinctively grab it, and it's like an 800-degree metal cylinder. So very fun. It's very fun right there. Yeah.
Well, speaking of 800-degree cylinders, let's talk about, I don't know, Josh Allen, I guess. I think that kind of works.
I don't know about that one.
Smoking hot cylinder? I don't know. Jalen Carter comes back for this game. Jordan Davis playing the way that he is playing. Also, your boy Moro Ojimo. Also, Brandon Graham. What are your expectations for the way that the defensive tackle rotation sort of plays out today? And what are the what is Vic Fangio's number one goal in this game with no Dalton Kincaid?
Yeah, it's a good question. Did you go Dolphin Kincaid on purpose? Is that like a pun?
I think I said Dalton. You might have heard Dolphin.
Oh, I might have heard it wrong. Yeah. I didn't know if there was like a bird pun, like Dolphin Kincaid or something.
Yes, of course. The famous bird, the dolphin.
Dolphin. All right. So defensive tackle rotation. Jalen Carter said earlier this week that he's not going to be playing at 100% for the rest of the season. It's something that he'll probably have to have. The shoulder injuries will be something he has to have addressed in the off season after having these procedures to get back on the field. But because of that, I'm curious to see how much they use him in this game, and then really for throughout the postseason as well, to see if he goes back to playing like a high percentage of snaps like we're used to seeing him play, or if they try to manage him. Because I feel like even before, he's obviously been dealing with the shoulder injury all season, at least with one of his shoulders. You saw that he could sort of turn it on. It was sort of like, okay, like I got to go this play. So I wonder if they do try and save him for more high leverage snaps, especially with how much depth they have at that position. But if you ask me, like, what is the thing that Vic Fangio wants to see from this defense? I really think it revolves around the run game. The Eagles or the Bills offense is top 5 in both success rate and EPA per rush. I think if they have a good performance, especially with the conditions being the way that they are, all of a sudden you go into the postseason feeling like that game against the Bears, that Black Friday game where they struggled so much on the ground, you feel like that's more of a blip. You feel like maybe that's more of a contributing factor from the short weeks and the amount of snaps that the defense played. But you feel, obviously, like you feel really good about the Eagles defense anyway. But I do think that today will be an instructive test on how they deal with teams that want to major in the run game and really try to stick with the run game. Well,
you mentioned the conditions. Give us an update. Do your best weather reporter here.
Yeah, so I walked probably about a mile to the stadium, and I'm not complaining actually,
Big flex.
because it wasn't terrible. Well, no, I mean it's not a flex. My ride share dropped me off there, and I was on the wrong side of the stadium. But I actually like it was not. I'm not complaining because it wasn't terrible when we got in here. It's probably about like 30, 35 degrees. It was a light rain, nothing crazy. But I think that the conditions are going to worsen throughout the afternoon and into the evening. The rain it's definitely more of a torrential downpour right now. I wouldn't say it's super windy, but by the time that kickoff comes around, in the next hour or two, I think that rain is probably going to turn to freezing rain, and that wind is going to become
Mm.
a real factor. I looked at the forecast, and it seems like there's going to be gusts around 15 to 20 miles an hour. So the Eagles have been in a couple of these games where the wind really does play a factor, but I think that it's going to change the way that they can operate offensively. I think that it's probably the way that both of these offenses wanted to operate anyway, but I
Mm.
think it's going to even more affirm the fact that both of these run games are going to be important today.
So EJ, it's kind of a big mental between the ears game for Jake Elliott. With
Yeah.
the conditions, did you catch warm-ups? And what do you think Sirianni does if he's right on that kind of like, career long? Is this a go for it type of game, or do you think he goes full confidence behind Jake?
Yeah, I didn't catch the warm-ups, but I do think that this is going to be a game where you have to be careful with the confidence factor for him.
Sure.
I think that, you saw the window into like the 2-point conversion. I know that there were other things at play there, but I do think that, it's fair to say that Nick's going to have to manage some of these drives differently given Jake's recent struggles. And especially because, one of the big things, it's funny, like Jake Elliott was on my list of things I wanted to hit on today. The other thing with Jake Elliott is like, I don't know how many opportunities he's going to get next week. Obviously he probably wouldn't be one of the starters that gets rested, but you're kind of running out of chances for him to get this on track, but going into the postseason. So it's a really tough place for him to try to get it back on track. And I do think that they'll probably have to manage that. But yeah, he's going to have opportunities here. And I think that it's going to be really important to see how he looks in those. Because I mean, I know that there's been talk about like, could the Eagles bring someone in? I think they're kind of stuck with him. Not to say stuck with him in the sense of like, like that he's going to be terrible throughout the postseason. He struggled at the end of the last regular season as well. But I do think, they have to ride it out with Jake, and that this is going to be an important day for him.
Yeah, I think you got to let him try to work through it, and that way you inform how you feel about it. And if he struggles again today, then you can start thinking about, can we put him on IR or something like that and bring in somebody for the play.
Yeah, I just don't know who you're going to bring in that you feel better about. Yeah. But it's funny because like this is obviously like a Super Bowl preview, right? Like it's obviously, or potential Super Bowl preview, and it is it's an exciting matchup, but it's also like the timing of the season where it's like you don't really feel like you're going to learn a whole lot about these teams. But to me, Jake is like one of the big ones that you will learn something about. Like the things going into this game I'm most curious about.
Yeah, there is sort of a feel to this game of like an exhibition prize fight. It's like high quality sparring, but the stakes are not as high as they could be or should be given the quality of the teams, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, totally. I mean, and like the seeding implications, obviously it's not like either of these teams don't have something riding on this game, but there's so much outside of this game that will really influence what this game really means for these teams in terms of the seeding. So it's a little anticlimactic. I think it's still going to be like a fun game. And, even like the elements, I think like if you're going to come to Buffalo in December, you kind of want to like have some kind of elements. You want something, like obviously like, the Eagles were here a few years ago, and like, you want some stories about some crazy wind or some crazy rain. So I still think it'll be a fun game. But yeah, like in terms of what we can learn, it's a little bit anticlimactic, I would say.
I know my only disappointment in your weather forecast was that I didn't get any lake effect. I needed to hear the terms lake effect.
Yeah, I am still getting used to this medium, and I do feel like I need to study the weather people out there to try and figure out some of the lingo, some of the buzzwords. What is the force multiplier of like weather updates?
Yeah,
the real feel. So
what
EJ,
is the easy button for weather updates? Yeah.
Two-parter. What percentage of Eagles fans did you see in the lots? And two, did you get a good buffalo wing last night?
Appreciate these questions. The atmosphere outside the stadium is awesome. Let me just start by saying that, because it's a high concentration of Bills fans, but I did see a good amount of Eagles fans. I think this was a debate in the press box probably about an hour ago. on whether or not you can say that the Eagles fans have come out for this game because of how many Bills fans you see out and around the stadium. But I do think there's a good collection of Eagles fans. If you ask me to give you a split, it's probably still like 70-30 Bills fans. I mean, maybe 75-25.
Yeah, that's huge.
Bills fans are intense out here, though.
Yeah.
Like, and that is why it's such a great atmosphere. Like, it definitely has that, like historic people parking in front yards and like, yeah, it's just like, again, that's why I was so like actually happy with the long walk I had to the media entrance, because it was like I got to see some of the energy and the atmosphere outside the stadium. I'll be honest with you guys, I'm disappointed that they're doing away with the stadium. This to me feels like a historic, fun place to be. Like, it feels like an occasion. The stadium across the street looks incredible, like the new one that they're going to move into, but I kind of like this place. I wish that they weren't going to move away from it.
Super chat from my POV life.
Go ahead.
Let's get to this first, because we've got a super chat that asks, "Did you jump through a table?"
I did not jump through a table. I mean, I can't even grill steaks without injuring myself right now. So I gotta keep it cool. Can't have too many emergency room visits in 1 month here. So no table jumps for me. I did get some good buffalo wings last night.
Yeah, where'd you go?
I got in late. So our flight got delayed. I got in late. So I was asking everyone I could about like, well, where should I order some wings from?
Yeah.
And I settled on a place called Just Pizza, which does not sound like it would have great wings. But no, they were incredible. The buffalo sauce here is a little bit different than what I'm used to. It's a little bit more like tacky. Like it's not like it doesn't stick to your fingers, but it's a good, like, I got a medium buffalo sauce. If I get more wings, I'm going to go hot buffalo sauce. But no, I was eating my wings like one hand only. I didn't want to get my other hand involved. And, it was a fun experience, but no, really, really good. So lived up to expectations. I think the strength of Buffalo is similar to the cheesesteak scene in Philly, where it's like, yes, you've got like these high level cheesesteak spots, but what makes it special, yeah, the median, exactly. Like you could go to any Italian shop in Philly and get a good cheesesteak. I feel like that's probably how the wings are here as well.
By the way, I was in New York yesterday, and speaking of Eagles representation, I was blown away just walking around New York how many people in Eagles hats I saw. Crazy.
I mean, maybe
it's just confirmation bias,
teams.
But like, yeah, more than any other team I saw.
Maybe you're on the market for a new team, like Lindsay should be, right? Just come on board with a team that doesn't make you sad every weekend. I respect that.
All right, EJ, before we let you go, let's get you on the record here. How do you see this bad boy playing out?
I just think this is a tough game, a tough spot for the Eagles. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game that revolves around both run games. I feel more confident. I feel confident in the Eagles' run defense, but I feel more confident in the Bills' run game, like translating to these elements in this setting than the Eagles' run game. So I do. I think that if you told me that the Eagles won this game, it's because Saquon Barkley has a big day, but I'm just not ready to bank on that. So I'm going to go Bills 16, Eagles 10 with some missed field goals in there is probably how I see this one going.
Oh, just calling it.
It's going to be a tough game. Yeah, it's going to be a tough game. I mean, as much as the Eagles would love to go into the postseason on a 4-game winning streak, what about this season has really made you feel confident about that happening? So. I'm gonna pick the Eagles to lose in a low scoring game. And
just to say, for incentives for the Bills, now that the Patriots have put BTA on the New York Jets, the Bills can still win the division.
Crazy scoreline there.
If they win, if they beat the Eagles, and then they're gonna need help next week, they would have to beat the Jets next week, which seems easy, but they would also need the Dolphins to beat the Patriots. So it's a bit of a stretch, but it's not impossible if they win this game.
Yeah. But I mean, I just think, just like, I don't know if McDermott really falls into this category. We talked about like Dan Campbell all week, how it's like, doesn't matter too much what's at stake. They're just going to want to play hard and win the game. I think that it'll be, the Bills will probably view this as an instructive test for them as well. So. All
right. Well, EJ Smith, thank you so much. We'll talk to you in.
I got a cool hat. For the post-game show.
Are you going to follow through?
I might not be outside, but I'll wear the hat. No, I got it. Trust me, it's a cool hat.
Okay.
Very good. Maybe some would say it's a classic cool hat.
Okay. We appreciate that. Good tease. We will check that out on the post-game show. Thank you very much, EJ. Everybody pay attention to EJ's social media, and we'll talk to you after the game, my friend.
All right, guys. Talk soon.
See you, EJ.
All right. And with that, we take our first little break here on the PHLY Eagles pregame show. On the other side, we will hear from Fran Duffy breaking down why the Bills like to go heavy on offense. But we start with a little word from our friends at Bet365, because Bet365 has 90 million users worldwide, and they live stream over 780,000 events each year with early payout offers across the NBA and NHL. And after this game, you're going to want to tune in to Sunday Night Football to watch the Niners and Bears, get a little sense of the teams the Eagles could play in the playoffs. And if you do that, you can place a $10 bet on the first touchdown scorer and get a split of $365,000 in bonus bets if your player scores the final touchdown of the game. Breaking news from Bet365. New customers now get $150 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose. Sign up, use the code PHLY365, deposit $10 and place a bet for $5 to get $150 in bonus bets. If your bet wins or loses, must be 21 or older and physically located in Pennsylvania. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The other day, Josh Allen and his fiance, Haley Steinfeld, invited me over to their house to watch some of the bowl games. And I said, yeah, Haley, of course, I'll come over. I got over there. Josh was toggling between apps. It was lagging. It was buffering. It was total disaster. I felt like I was fan-fished. And Josh should know, if you're a real football fan, you got to have Xfinity. It's the ultimate sports destination. You can find the best games with your favorite teams all in one place. It's next level. It's the perfect fan flex. All the action right there in your living room, plus Xfinity's best picture and sound with enhanced 4K. It feels and looks so clear like you're in the stadium. Sometimes 4 games going at once, because why not? On top of that, you get real-time notification and live stats right there on your TV. It's the best seat in the house every time. So next game day, make sure that big fan isn't a big fail. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Xfinity, imagine that. Restrictions apply. Multi-view requires Xfinity 4K capable TV box.
All right, back on the PHLY Eagles pregame show, and now we check in with our man, Fran Duffy, who breaks down the Bills' offense and why they like to go heavy. Even in this game without Dalton Kincaid, expect a lot of 22 personnel, 12 personnel, 21, 13. How do the Eagles handle it? Fran previews.
All right, guys, let's dive into the bones of this Bills offense and really what they're all about with how they try to attack opposing defenses on a weekly basis. This is what you would call a base personnel offense. A lot of tight ends, a lot of full, multi-back sets, whether it's 2 running backs, 2 true running backs on the field, or the use of a fullback, Reggie Gilliam. This is a play from midseason against the Kansas City Chiefs where you're going to see they come out in one of those heavy sets where you're going to get 3 tight ends on the field, essentially, where you've got the tight end Dawson Knox, you've got the rookie Jackson Hawes, there's Reggie Gilliam, the fullback, and then you've got the wide receiver Tyrell Shavers, who's a big receiver, really used as a blocker at the point of attack. And this is going to be under center. This is going to be counter. This is one of their bread and butter plays. It's a play that the Eagles run as well, where you're going to get a couple of pullers, you're going to get some down blocks at the point of attack, and you're going to get smash mouth football. James Cook, explosive one-cut runner who's really always trying to find those cutback lanes where he can find a daylight. So at the snap of the ball, you're going to see Jackson Hawes, who started over here on the far side. He came in motion, which, by the way, they are the #1 motion team in the NFL. So that's something certainly that the Eagles will have to make sure all of their motion rules are buttoned up. Who does what there, given based off any kind of pre-snap motion or shift that you see here from the Bills. But you're going to get Hawes come in motion. He's going to serve as the kick-out block and create an outside seal here on the force player. Then you're going to get the fullback, Reggie Gilliam. He's going to be the lead blocker here up into the hole. You get a down block from Deion Dawkins. You get another down block from the guard. And now you're going to get the seal that you need here if you are James Cook here. Now, what you're going to get is, again, you get a kick-out block from Hawes. You get the fullback in the hole. And typically what you're doing here, if you're the running back, you're trying to play off the inside shoulder of that lead blocker in the hole. So Reggie Gilliam does an outstanding job getting hat on a hat here. You get those down blocks. Now you have the inside seal. And there's the alley for James Cook. He's able to get to the second level. So now this is mano-a-mano. You've got Cook against the safety up at the second level. He's able to make him miss, and he takes off for a huge play within the run game. Now, James Cook, you think about him, you think of his explosive speed. They love to get him out in space. A lot of these stretch plays, the perimeter, the pin pull plays out in space. But he's also been a really good decisive inside runner between the tackles, and that's a good example here on this play. Now, They're really good with play action. I talk about the motion, the under center, some runs from the gun, some runs from the pistol. They're going to mix and match personnel groupings that we talked about. So this offense gives you a lot to think about defensively. But then you get into the pass game. And look, the pass game talent on the outside, it's not great. You know, we go through the names. It's not a star-studded depth chart. They're really productive at the tight end position, but they really like to factor in the running backs with the pass game as well. And that's something that the Eagles are going to have to make sure that they are aware of, especially rookie linebacker Jahad Campbell. My guess is that they're going to dial up some plays to try and get him singled up with a James Cook or maybe Ty Johnson one-on-one down the field. And it could be a concept just like this one, where you're going to get two backs in the backfield next to Josh Allen. And like I mentioned, they will come out in a lot of different personnel groupings. This is a good example of one where you've got two backs on the field with a tight end and then 1-2 receivers on the outside. A little bit of a condensed look here, but you're trying to get these one-on-one matchups where the thing you're going to see here from the Bills is that they're going to leak out Ty Johnson on a wheel route and get him isolated on a linebacker. They're going to release him inside the formation, and you're going to lift coverage on the outside with the receiver. You're trying to get this linebacker one-on-one with Ty Johnson out in space. Ty Johnson's a 4.3 guy coming out of Maryland. So this is a guy that's got speed. He can impact the game as a runner and as a receiver down the field. So that's going to be the first read for Josh Allen. He's going to drop back, and he wants the wheel route to the running back. Now, if that's taken away, now you get into the bones of this pass game, and one of the things I like about it, it's a lot of pure progression reads for Josh Allen. There's been a big discourse in like NFL media over the last 2-3 weeks. It feels like every coach and coordinator and quarterback is being asked to talk about their progression reads and how many they use in their offense. It originated with the discussions that Josh Allen and Joe Brady, the offensive coordinator, have had. So this is a good example of exactly that, where he's going to start here. The first read in the progression is the running back wheel route. The second read in the progression, staying within his vision, is the shallow cross from the tight end. You could see Josh Allen, he gets his eyes right here to the tight end coming on the shallow cross. Well, that linebacker is going to pick that up. So now he's got to get back to his third read, and his third read in the progression is the running back, James Cook, out of the backfield. So he's just going to go 1 to 2 to 3 across the width of the field. He gets back over to James Cook, and now you're getting an explosive athlete out in space against a linebacker, and now you're just going to let James Cook cook, where you're going to say, okay, we think he has the speed to erase this angle, and they're right. They're able to get James Cook out in space. He gets tackled short of the goal line here, but an explosive play in the pass game, again, coming from heavy personnel sets. You're going to see a lot of that from this offense here in this game. How are Vic Fangio and that Eagles defense, how are they going to match up to those groups? Can you stay disciplined against all the pre-snap movement and the different shifts you're going to see? It's going to be a big test here for this defense, their biggest test as they get ready for the postseason.
Dynamite stuff from the Duff Man.
Fran.
Good stuff. Now, a few things to update you on. Number one, we're going to be doing a watch-along during the game today. So if you got the game dialed up, you want to have a little second screen experience, we will be there for you. Vinny Curry's in the house. So we'll do a little reacting to what's going on during the game. That will also replace the halftime show. So if you want to come in, we'll still do a sort of version of the halftime show from the couches out here as we're watching this game. And then also a reminder, if you are a big Flyers fan, and I mean a big Flyers fan, well, guess what? We got the takeover coming on January 6th. Pause. And there you go. The official PHLY Flyers sweet takeover against the Anaheim Ducks. Go hang with Bill and get have some fancy drinks. That sounds like my kind of night.
Go boo Cutter Gauthier.
Yeah, there you go.
Sounds like a night.
All right, let's get to our best bets presented by Bet365. Jamie, what is the special PHLY same game parlay that you've cooked up?
So this boost on Bet365 right now is up to plus 750. Originally plus 575. Eagles got to win. Saquon's got to hit 90 plus rushing yards. AJ Brown's got to get in the end zone. All seemingly realistic scenarios.
Okay.
You know, the Eagles' run game's been looking good.
Plus 750, okay.
Yeah, a little 750 action there. So check that one out.
All right. Go ahead.
Yeah, for my best bets, Bo, I know it seems like an obvious ground game for Saquon, but I feel like the Eagles are going to want to try and get it going in the air. I'm going Jalen Hurts,
Zack.
2+ passing touchdowns.
Okay.
Plus 145 on that. Josh Allen, anytime touchdown score, plus 120. And then this one, I just love the odds on this.
Plus 120. Okay.
DeVonta Smith over 70 receiving yards, a little plus 230 actually.
Okay.
So I just like those odds a lot on that one.
I'm with you on DeVonta. It's been a while since we have had a true DeVonta game. Now I lost this bet last week, so I'm being kind of a sucker here and doubling down. But I'm just going on the straight over on what his line is, which is 48.5 receiving yards. Give me DeVonta Smith over that for minus 110. I'm going Josh Allen over 6.5 rushing attempts.
It's probably a good one,
which is also minus 115. He's been over that a little bit more. I think without Dalton Kincaid, even though this Eagles run defense is very good, I'm going to expect him to go a little bit over there. And then I want Jalen to throw the ball in this game. And this is not Jalen's going to have a bad game, but tough conditions. I think Jalen Hurts throws an interception in this game. That's plus 145. And I don't think that is a bad thing. I would like to see them open up the passing game today. And if that means an interception, so be it. Let's be aggressive. So there you go.
Ooh, I like that.
Plus 145.
Yeah, I mean,
he doesn't throw a lot of picks.
And
had a stretch where he threw a few, but
some windy, sleeting rain type of thing going on up there. It's certainly possible.
Yeah.
Screw you, Josh Allen.
And instead it'll probably end up being 70 carries each.
Yeah.
So there you go. All right, Jamie, how do you see this bad boy playing out?
I felt it all week, and I'm just going to stick with it. I think the Eagles pull it out. I think the defense keeps this Bills offense in check enough that they can score. I think they keep them around the 20 to 21 area. So I'm going to go Eagles 27.
Ooh, 27.
Bills 20.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
A little high scoring for the weather up there.
I mean, listen, there is a scenario here where the Eagles win this game. The Bears beat the Niners tonight, so the Eagles are just locked into number 3. They take next week off, and they feel going into the playoffs like all of a sudden we are the best team in the NFC. I don't think that's crazy.
I don't.
And you're going to be rested.
Yeah.
You're going to get Lane Johnson back presumably. You can feel like you are entering the playoffs, sort of gathering the Voltron of the roster, and I think that is possible. And I also think you could feel pretty good about the Eagles going into the playoffs, even if they lose this game. I don't think they need to win this game to feel good about how they feel entering January. I think I would like to see them just play well. Let's move the ball on offense. Let's take advantage of where the Bills are weak. And if Josh Allen leads some kind of game-winning touchdown drive at the end, that's okay. You're locked in. You feel good. We'll see what happens in the playoffs. And I kind of think that's what happens in this game. I think the Eagles play well enough to feel good. Josh Allen has some magic at the end. I'm going to say the Eagles. Jake Elliott goes 4 for 4 on field goals. They score 2 more touchdowns, so they have 26 and they lose 27-26.
Okay, I could be okay with that. Like if they play this team toe to toe and it's close down to the end. Maybe I'm not a one and done guy if it looks okay today. We'll see. But yeah, if Josh Allen,
what? I think the Eagles are going to win this game.
Yeah,
I do.
Okay, sure,
I do.
I mean, the
26-20.
The thing that scares me is just Josh Allen in a 1-possession game with the ball in his hands in the fourth quarter.
It's 26-20. Josh Allen has a chance to drive him down the field. Comes up short. And Marcus Epps makes the game-winning interception.
Marcus Epps.
Yes.
Wow. That would be calling a shot.
There you go.
That would be awesome.
That's what's going to happen. So watch the game along with us on the watch along here coming up in just a few minutes. And then check in during halftime if you want to be siloed during the game. And then, of course, join us for the post-game show afterwards. Super Bowl champion Vinny Curry is here to do it all with us.
And shout out Mission Barbecue. Delicious.
Ooh, great spread today.
The brisket was just outrageous.
Now I did what I don't usually do. Usually I wait until the game. This time I went right at it.
Yeah.
The gun was nice and piping hot.
Which sauce did you go with today?
Oh, I mix it up. I'm going like 4 different sauces on there. It's like a little sauce on the potatoes, a little sauce on the turkey, a little sauce on the brisket.
Nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
That turkey was good.
Turkey was very good.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
All right. That'll do it for the PHLY Eagles pregame show. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for watching. Thank you to Lindsay for making it happen behind the scenes. We will talk to you in like a couple minutes out there in the on the couches. But other than that, good luck to all of you. And as always, We love you.
Go Birds.
We all silly like the mayor.